Hey, what's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. This is it, the big one. The biggest concert probably ever. There's been so much talk and discussion in the news about this Taylor Swift concert, primarily with the tickets. So it rolled through Vegas this weekend. She did 2 shows at Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. Holds about 70,000. If you take off the section, definitely 50, 60,000 people there to see Taylor Swift. And as you know, and as everybody knows, it's been the talk of the talk is the tickets. So I'm going to start this review with the tickets and what my experience was, which I'm sure is very similar to a lot of people, what all the complaints were. I don't know if I'm going to get into that because I think everybody knows what the problem was. I mean, the biggest thing that I've heard that I found so interesting was the CEO of Live Nation came out and he said something nuts. He said something like that there's enough demand to see Taylor Swift that she can sell out football stadiums every single night for like the next 60 years, and that's what it'll take to meet the demand, which is unbelievable if you think about that. Really unbelievable if you think how much demand there is, that how much these tickets are going for. I didn't believe it. I really thought it would be, a lot of people trying to cash in, buy these tickets, flip them. That wasn't the case. I've been watching these tickets for weeks. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. I know some of the songs. I learned tonight that I knew a lot more than I thought I knew. I thought I only knew 3 or 4 of the big ones. I didn't know I knew this many. But, this is my little side thing, these concert reviews. I do concert reviews. I go to millions of concerts. How on earth can I not go to the biggest concert probably of all time when it's coming through town? And the answer is, fuck, do I want to spend $1,000 a ticket for decent seats? My attitude has always been, I don't think there are any good seats in these football stadiums. I hate them. I've seen the Stones at Allegiant. I've seen Chili Peppers. I've seen Metallica. You can buy what you think is the best seat, and which is a good seat for the thing, but it's so big and it's so round that, it sucks. There's really no good seat because even if you're at the 50-yard line, the artist has to look to her left. She has to look to her right. Like at some point, you're always going to have your back turned because the artist, in this case Taylor, has to always look at one portion of the stadium, which means her back is turned to you. It kind of sucks. This was interesting, and I'm going to get into my story with the tickets, but, a tip out of the gate in case I forget to say, which I thought was really interesting. When you're going to buy tickets, her stage is a stage, and then there's this long runway that goes through the center of the stadium. Common sense tells you that if you buy towards the front stage, you're going to get the second or third row. You're going to have these great seats. That's not the case with these shows. If you're looking to buy Taylor Swift, here's your first tip of the night. I would buy your tickets on that long runway. In the middle, there's one like a diamond shape. That's where a majority of the show was. So if you're going to buy tickets, don't buy at the front of the stage like you normally would. Buy your tickets close to that middle stage. I think she was only on that front stage maybe 10% of the show, maybe. There was one section she was there more because they had the house there from one of the albums. But majority of the show, majority of the action was happening in the middle. So there's your tip number 1. Okay, so I've been watching tickets for a while. There weren't even an option to buy tickets. There were thousands of dollars. I've gone to millions of shows. Tickets always come down. It's a tactic I use. I wait to the last minute, and people just start dumping them. Babysitters cancel. Boyfriend and girlfriends get into fights. People come to Vegas. They can't handle the day club, and they can't make the night. So there's always tickets that pop up. I've been watching. This shit didn't go down. It didn't freaking go down. I've never seen anything like it. It just stayed at that level. Anything half decent was at least 800, 900, maybe 1,000 with the fees. That's substantial. It's a lot of money for one night, for one concert, especially for someone like me who goes every week to 2-3 shows. There were some cheaper tickets in the 400 or 500, but you have to be very careful because those tickets are obstructed views. You're not going to get a full shot of the stage. However, another tip, going to this show, like I just said, she's not really on that main stage so much. So those seats that normally are shitty seats behind the stage or has a screen blocking you are not as bad because she's towards the middle of the stadium. So if you're desperate, I don't think those tickets are as bad as they would normally be if she was on that main stage, if that makes any sense at all. Anyway, I went down there. I decided to just go down there and take my luck. And when I got to the stadium, it was the saddest thing I've ever seen. I saw about 50 to 100 kids, young kids, sitting on their phone. Everybody was on StubHub. Everybody was on, Vivid and all these reseller sites and just glued. And I was watching my phone as I was walking to the stadium. And like every now and then, like a good seat would pop up for like $8.50 with fees, and it would go in 2 seconds. And by the time I got to the stadium, there were not that many tickets left, which was unbelievable. They were all thousands of dollars for anything half decent. Even the shitty seats were gone. And then the show started at 8:30. I was at the stadium at about 8:15. And the desperation on everybody's face was just sad. I mean, that's not what this thing is about, but it's not Taylor's fault. I realized tonight, what are you supposed to do? There's only so much she can do. She's playing at the biggest venues she can, 2-3 nights at a time. I think she's doing 5 nights in LA, and it's just not enough to meet everybody's demands. It's supply and demand. If people are willing to pay $1,000, which they are, then that's what they're going to sell for. Anyway, at about 8:30, which is right around the time she went on, all the sites wiped out their tickets. Just took them off. And like at the same time, you just heard this like sigh, and everybody just walked away. So sad. It was sad. I thought I was done. I thought that was it. I gave it a shot, and that's it. We're done. As I was walking away, I heard this couple talking to these 3 girls, and I heard them say, "Oh, we're sorry, we only have one." So I ran over there. I asked them. They said they had one. It was a great seat. It was section 1C 115, which is around the 45-yard line in the 100 section. And I like that better than the floor. I think the floor is very level there because it's a football stadium. So do you want to be up a little bit so you can see, all the whole action going on? Anyway, they told me $600 cash. Luckily I had cash on me. Boom, did it, got the ticket. I thought I was done. I probably got the last ticket for sale for that show. I missed the first few songs. I'll get into it now, but that's I'm going to get into the set list now. So the set list is pretty freaking incredible. So my take on this show, and I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I like her. I respect her. I learned a lot about her tonight that I never took the time to learn about. But, man, she delivered. The word I keep thinking in my head to describe this show is it was pretty fucking epic. This show was epic. I've gone to a lot of shows and I've never seen anything like this. So basically what she did, and I'm shocked in a world where everything's been done. I can't think of one time that an artist has done this, where they've taken her albums. I think she's got 10. I may be wrong about that. And what she did was she broke up the albums. So she started with her first album. I believe they're in order. I could be wrong. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Started with her first album and played 4, 5, 6 songs from that. Then did the second album and then the third album and took her best and favorite songs from each album. And at the end of the day, it's 44 songs. That is an incredible set list. That is it's almost like a farewell show. I mean, she is giving her fans everything. I mean, literally everything she can. It's such a smart way, honestly, to have a show. It's a really smart way to kind of scope your whole career into one show. So let me get into it. She starts with the Lover album. And this was really cool too. For each album that she did, the theme for that little section of songs, the colors, the lighting, her outfits, they matched the album, the palette of the album, the color palette, the vibe, all that stuff. The set decoration, the production value was off the charts. She had, you could tell, the best people in the business, the best costume design, the best lighting, the best, most creative. It was done so freaking well. It was a story, and that's what she does. She tells stories. Taylor's songs, and I realized it tonight, she started with country, and then she went pop, which everybody knows, and had probably more success, if that's even possible, in the pop world. But what the thing that's interesting, and I've said this in my other reviews, country music is storytelling. Country music, you're telling stories. So even these pop songs, I gone to Miranda Lambert or Luke Bryan or Carrie Underwood. I didn't really know any of the songs, but damn, when I went to those shows, I was hanging on every word to every song because it's so clearly written and so well written, these songs, that you understand a story. It's like bedtime. You lie in bed and Taylor's going to tell you a story. And that's what she did. And she was able to take her Nashville, I don't know if it was Nashville, but her country roots, and she was able to apply it to pop. So now you have these pop songs that tell a story the way country music does. And it fucking worked. It worked really, really well for her. So you take that, these great, great pop songs and these great country songs, and you add this huge production value, and it's just incredible. So she starts with the Lover album. She started with Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, Cruel Summer, The Man, You Need to Calm Down. This is where I walked in. Lover and The Archer. Then she went to the second album, Fearless. She played Fearless, You Belong With Me, and Love Story. I believe You Belong With Me and Love Story were big, some of her big early hits. I knew those songs, actually. Then she did the Evermore album, and she went into 'Tis the Damn Season, Willow, Marjorie, Champagne Problems, and Tolerate It. And she went to her next album. You got to imagine, it says that she is telling, like I said, she's a storyteller, and she is telling the story of her career through her albums and how she's evolved. And you could see her evolve from a little kid writing songs to this pop artist. It's fucking incredible. I was really, really impressed. Then she did the Reputation album, Ready for It. That's one of those songs I didn't know I knew, but I knew because of TikTok or Instagram. There's just so many, that song's used all the time. Delicate, Don't Blame Me, and Look What You Made Me Do. I knew that one too. So I thought I knew 3 or 4. Once she starts getting into the songs, I'm like, oh, I know this one. And let me tell you something. I skipped over it a little bit. Her fans, man. Her fans. You hear the stories that they call. I think they're called Swifties. You hear the story of these Swifties. You see clearly what they're willing to pay to see Taylor, but every single song was a sing-along. And looking around, it's infectious. And everybody has tears or happy. They're happy tears, but everybody is moved. You could see how much Taylor is involved in the fabric of these kids' lives. Even adults. There were adults there singing along too. She has been around for so long, and her songs mean so much to people that you could just see it in their face when they're singing along. It's awesome. It's infectious. So Don't Blame Me, Look What You Made Me Do. Then she did Enchanted. And let me tell you, her outfits were, it was like a movie. There was one, I don't remember exactly where it was. I think it was the Evermore album, where like she had a dining room table and she was wearing a dress. And I'll put up some pictures if I have them, I think. And it was like a production. It was like a play. It was like going to a Broadway play, for I think it was Enchanted. She came out in like a big princess dress. Then she went into Red, and these songs I think I really started to recognize. 22, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. I knew that one. If I Knew You Were Trouble, I knew that. All Too Well. This one I knew really well. I knew it all too well. I like that, huh? But this one, for me personally, was the song that made me really say, I really want to see her. I think I saw her do it on Saturday Night Live. I knew the story. I work in the music business a little bit. I knew the story about how she recorded everything over again and this and that. And, I don't want to get into all that. But if you're a fan and you're listening to this, you know what happened with her masters. And I saw her do All Too Well. I think it was on Saturday Night Live. And I was mesmerized by it. It was this 10-minute story. This is, of all her songs that I know, this one is a true storytelling masterpiece. It is so vivid in the descriptions. And then, if I remember correctly, she put out a video that was even nominated for like a short film. I don't know if it was an Oscar or the Golden Globe, but they made a movie because her story that she wrote was a movie. It was such a well-written story that you didn't even need to see it, but the visuals, when they put it in your face, it's not a song, it's a script. It's a book. It speaks. It's a testament to her storytelling. It's a 10-minute song that is so well written. I love this song. I'm not embarrassed to say to my friend, I absolutely love this song. I think it is a masterpiece. And to see it live for 10 minutes was just incredible. That's when, for me, I said, wow, I'm watching something special here. I just was. Then she got into the Folklore. I think this is the album. I remember the video where this is really like, I think it was the video for Cardigan, I'm not sure, where she's in a fucking forest and they see a little, what are those called? Hobbit houses, and in a jungle or whatever with a moss all over it. They brought that house to the stage. I mean, this is what I'm saying, that each section really told the story of that album. The visuals that they painted in the videos and stuff like that, they brought to life in the live show, which was really cool. So they did, let's see, intro was 7, and then Invisible String. Betty, who she talked about, was a fictional character that she created. The Last Great American Dynasty, also I remember the dresses and the scarves. It was really like elegant the way it was. August, Illicit Affairs, My Tears Ricochet, and Cardigan, which I think was a big hit for her. Then she got into 1989 album. I don't know why. Maybe just because these were the biggest ones she had. I knew every single one of these songs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 songs from that 1989 song. Style, Blank Space, Shake It Off, Wildest Dreams, and Bad Blood. I don't know why. I don't know why these 5 songs. Maybe you can leave in the comments this was just her biggest pop album, and that's why I know them from everywhere. But this must have been a massive album for her because, damn, these are great songs. They're great, 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 catchy pop songs. And I don't think it gets bigger than Shake It Off. I actually think Shake It Off is the most watched video on YouTube, possibly. One thing I want to say at this point also about Taylor, her grace, that might be the right word. She never looked tired. I mean, this is a 3.5-hour show. I was freaking tired. Even the young girls I saw were sitting down every 10 minutes. She danced her way. She costume changed her way. She smiled, and she sang her way through this entire epic set list. Didn't look tired. Didn't look exhausted. Actually looked... she had a face full of gratitude. She had a face full of I just can't believe this many people came to see me. I can't believe this many people. I'm going to give them the best goddamn show I could, as a thank you for showing up for me and always showing up for me. And I kept waiting for her to if you go to rock shows, the lead singers take a break here and there. They do some guitar solos, some drum solos. She didn't really take any breaks. She was dancing, full energy, full grace, didn't look tired, didn't look sweaty, I don't know how she does it. It's really, she's an amazing performer. She really won me over. Then she did acoustic, the surprise acoustic song. This was interesting for me. I guess each show she changes that one song in the acoustic set. And this one she came out and she told a story about recording an album during COVID, and she was able to use Mark Mumford from Mumford & Son, his recording studio. And she recorded this song, Cowboy Like Me, with him, and he jumped on the song. And then she turned around, she's like, ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Mumford, which was awesome. I love Mumford & Sons. So he came out on stage, which was a real treat. They did Cowboy Like Me, which was a cool song. That guy's just got this voice. There's nobody like him. He's just great. And then she did White Horse on the piano, which I thought was also, I never heard it. Great, great, great song. It says here it's the first time she's played it to 2018, which that's kind of cool. Also one of these well-written, you don't need to, I never heard that song before, and I understood everything about the song. The lyrics are so well written and they're so clean that, Then anyway, she gets into Midnights, which I think is her last album. She did Lavender Haze, Anti-Hero, which I think was the big hit from that album, Midnight Rain, Vigilante Shit, Bejeweled, Mastermind, and then closed out this monster performance and show with Karma, which is song number 44. Pretty incredible. I don't know what to say. This review is really long, but so is the show, and it deserves it. God, I'm almost at 20 minutes. This is one of the longest reviews I've ever had, but there's so much to talk about with her. I'm going to try and wrap it up because I know people are bored of hearing my voice. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 9-8. It probably would be a 10 out of 10 if I knew more songs. So I couldn't fully connect, but fuck, that's a great show. Now here's the the $1,000 question. Is it worth the money? I paid $600. I got very lucky. I live in Vegas. I made that money at the blackjack table on the way out, so it was a free show. But if I didn't, yeah, it's worth it. If I paid $1,000, yeah. This is a show you're going to remember forever. This is a show that is so unique that you will remember the rest of your life. Look, if you go to shows every week like I do, it's a lot to spend on a single show. But if you don't go to shows that often, maybe once or twice a year, you don't take yourself out that much, man, I think it's worth it. I can't believe I'm saying it. it's worth it. This is something you will remember the rest of your life. This is something, if you're a fan especially, this will touch your soul. She will grab your heart. She will grab your soul, and she won't let go for 3.5 hours. And I don't know how you put a price on that. That's what this music is all about. This music industry, this Taylor Swift, going to live shows. There's an emotion that comes going to live shows that you don't get anywhere else. You don't get that from a pill. You don't get that from alcohol. You don't get that from therapists. Music is life, and she delivers. And she's got an unbelievable catalog. She won me over tonight as a fan. For those that were there, 98% of the people that were there were diehards. Walked out happy as can be. Money well spent. I can't believe I'm saying it, but yeah, it's worth $1,000 a ticket. So thanks for listening. I'm sure I'll have a lot of comments on this. I'm sure some people will correct some things that I said in there. That's cool. Leave the comments. Subscribe if you like this. I'm sorry it got so long. There's just so much to talk about. I was really, 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 really impressed, and I would go see that show again in a heartbeat. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for making it to 21 minutes. Yikes. Have a safe time out there, and I'll see you at the next show. Subscribe. Thank you. Good night.